The mathematics of Group A make this opening fixture one of the most critical of the entire tournament. South Korea, ranked 25th in the world, faces a Czechia side ranked 41st. It is a collision between elite technical verticality and engineered physical disruption. The stakes are defined by the group's architecture. Dropping points here forces a team to chase a result later against the co-hosts Mexico, an environment where historical data favor modern football systems live or die based on control of the central midfield. This engine room is the zone where the game's tempo is either established or destroyed. South Korea requires a fluid central corridor to advance their attack, while Czechia's system is designed to bypass the center with the ball and violently congest it without it. South Korea's success depends on whether their intricate vertical passing can maintain its shape when met with sustained physical attrition. Controlling these specific micro-battles in the midfield provides the most reliable path to a victory. Whoever dictates the tempo here dictates the conditions of the entire match. Composure and speed. Making their 11th consecutive World Cup appearance, South Korea's vibrant, fast-paced style is anchored by one man. Visualize a heroic close-up of Captain Son Heung-min under those brilliant stadium lights, the intense eyes, the sheer emotional weight of leadership. This could very well be his final World Cup chapter. Now, Reuters has highlighted a recent scoring slump at the club level, which triggered some debate about his fading sharpness, but honestly, his importance to the team's legacy is just undeniable. Once a superstar reaches this stage, every run feels heavier and every single chance feels intensely symbolic. But beneath the surface, there's definitely some underlying anxiety. Despite all their elite talent, South Korea arrives searching for the cleanest version of themselves under coach Hong Myung-go. There is a real sense of uncertainty lingering on the training ground. Are they going to go with a traditional back four or shift to a three-man defense in a 3-4-3 formation under all this immense pressure? Do they even have the wingback quality for that? Add to that the medical tape and worried faces. Bae Jun-ho is doubtful and Cho Yu-min is completely ruled out. They're talented, yes, but far from settled. To survive in advance, South Korea's precise game plan essentially has to look exactly like this four-step sequence. First up, they have to make the game incredibly fast. Second, keep it highly technical. With players like Lee Kang-in serving as the technical improviser and Hwang In-beom acting as the midfield metronome, they've got to execute step 3. Stretch that organized check block from side to Returning to the World Cup stage for the first time in 20 long years, Czechia arrived through pure, unadulterated grit. I mean, they survived playoff tension, penalty shootouts, and even a coaching change following a really tough defeat to the Faroe Islands. They are a hardened, battle-tested group walking out of that tunnel with unapologetic underdog energy. And this brilliantly illustrates our tactical split screen. On one side, South Korea relies on fast, technical passing, verticality, and speed. On the exact opposite side, Czechia leans heavily on physical duels, aerial supremacy, and a very rigid defensive structure. Czechia might lack the high-end technical superstars, but they make up for it with aggressive pressing and a rugged realism that turns the pitch into an absolute battlefield. To execute this bruising style, Czechia relies on 3 primary weapons. Imagine a tall striker leaping above defenders in slow motion. That's Patrik Schick, the focal aerial threat and their main source of goals. Behind him is Tomáš Souček, a physically dominant captain who turns tactical chaos into dangerous attacks by completely owning the second ball, basically snatching up possession right after those initial aerial duels. Finally, we have Pavel Sonny, the modern creative spark who kind of drifts between the lines to provide some unpredictability amidst all that raw force. So here is Czechia's sequenced battle plan to derail the favorites. Honestly, they don't need to impress you. They just need to severely inconvenience you. Step 1, slow the tempo down to a crawl. Step 2, make every single challenge incredibly physical. Step 3. Zooming in on the tactical engine room, because this is where the 90-minute crucible will ultimately be won or lost, here is the absolute tale of the tape. First, we have Hwang In-beom facing intense Czech central pressure. If Hwang can connect the attack, Korea thrives. If Souček smothers him, Korea's attack just starts. Next, picture an elite slow-motion impact duel. Central defender Kim Min-jae battling aerially against the massive frames of Schick and Tomáš Cho. If Kim dominates the air, Korea lives. If not, every cross is pure panic. Finally, it's Korean pace trying to fracture the Czech structure. A split-second delay in transition could... Tactical systems are also vulnerable to external variables, specifically the altitude and heat of Guadalajara. These environmental conditions at Estadio Chivas accelerate the physiological breakdown of the players. Fatigue directly degrades decision-making. As shown in this heat map of the Korean 3-4-3 formation, the system's integrity is tied to the team's remaining stamina. By the 75th minute, widening distances between the defensive and attacking lines begin to break the connective passing chains. Late-game structural collapse favors the team already comfortable in high-contact, chaotic play. Synthesizing all of this data, the physical intensity, the clashing styles, the environmental factors, and tactical foresight, South Korea still holds the edge in talent, movement, and experience. But because Czechia's physicality, defensive organization, and set-piece danger travel so well, this is not going to be comfortable. If Czechia scores first, they will defend that lead with absolute cruelty. However, the prediction here is a narrow 2-1 victory for South Korea. It won't necessarily be due to sustained dominance, but rather because at some critical juncture, a moment of magic, perhaps a final flash of brilliance from Son, or a line-breaking pass from Hwang, will just edge out the brawlers. As the stadium floodlights reveal the national flags and the players lock into formation, we are left with this dramatic, suspenseful question. Will technical brilliance conquer the chaos, or will raw pressure break the structure? In the unforgiving crucible of the World Cup, the answer will define the destiny of Group A. Thank you so much for joining me on this